So, Betelgeuse, that huge red star in Orion, has been getting people excited for ages because it's super red and ginormous. Seriously, if you swapped out our sun for Betelgeuse, it would swallow up all the planets up to Jupiter. It's so big because it's almost at the end of its life, about to go boom in a supernova explosion. But lately, things have been weird. Betelgeuse got way brighter, like, it jumped from the 10th to the 7th brightest star we can see. Scientists were scratching their heads. Was this the beginning of the end, or just a hiccup? If Betelgeuse goes supernova, it'll light up our night sky so much, it'll be like daytime. That would be a huge win for science. How bright a star is depends on how big it is, how hot it is, and how close it is to us. Betelgeuse is huge, over 700 times bigger than the Sun, but it's also pretty cool, only about 3,000 Kelvin on the surface, which is why it's red. Being huge and cool makes it a good candidate for a supernova, so its weird behavior is extra interesting. Then, in 2019, it got super dim, down to 40% of its usual brightness, which was so noticeable you didn't even need a telescope to see it. People started guessing what was going on. Maybe dust was blocking the light, or maybe something was happening inside the star. Everyone started talking about a possible supernova soon. Using a big telescope in Chile, astronomers took pictures of Betelgeuse while it was dimming. The star looked lopsided. They figured out it was probably because Betelgeuse had burped out a ton of stuff into space, like a cosmic volcano. This changed how the star looked and messed up its pulsing. It threw out over 400 billion tons of stuff, way more than the Sun ever does. Because of this, its expansion got shorter, from 400 days to 200. That's a big change, signaling it's getting unstable, which made people wonder what would happen. Now, astronomers are watching it closely to see when it finally pops. When a big star like Betelgeuse runs out of gas, its core collapses from the pressure, causing a supernova. This explosion sends out a crazy amount of energy, blasting the star's outer layers into space and making a super bright light we could even see during the day. Before the light gets here, we'll get a burst of neutrinos, tiny particles that travel super fast. These neutrinos would reach Earth hours before the light. When the light arrives, Betelgeuse could be brighter than the full moon, casting shadows and lighting up the night for weeks. This supernova will give scientists a chance to study how stars die in real time. By checking out the light, heat, and radiation, they can find out lots about how stars grow old, how nuclear stuff works, and how elements needed for life are made. To get a better idea of what's happening with Betelgeuse, scientists are using computer models to recreate the inside of the star. They use data from telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, and the VT to get a closer look at what's making Betelgeuse unstable. These models show that a huge bubble of gas probably formed deep inside the star, which set off the dimming. The JWST has also taken a closer look at the stuff Betelgeuse threw out, showing cool patterns of gas and dust around the star. All this hints that Betelgeuse is close to the end. Scientists think Betelgeuse could go supernova in the next 10,000 to 100,000 years, but its crazy behavior could mean it'll happen sooner. Astronomers are doing their best to catch every detail of this cosmic show before it's over. In 2023, the JWST spotted something new. The star, already messed up from throwing out a ton of stuff, seemed to have suddenly started collapsing inside. The fusion reactions changed, showing core problems. Before the collapse, the star's surface was expanding and contracting every 400 days. This rhythm got cut in half after the collapse, which means the star's insides were going through major changes. Simulations show the core is getting riskier as it burns heavier elements. When stars start making iron, it's a sign they're about to croak. Iron doesn't give off energy when it fuses, so it builds up and crushes the core. Astronomers are arguing about when Betelgeuse will explode. Some say it could be in a few centuries, others say thousands of years. What's sure is that its time as a red supergiant is running out. One sign that a supernova is about to happen is a spike in neutrino levels. Scientists are watching for any sudden bursts, which would warn us that the end is near. The supernova won't hurt Earth, but will be super bright, like the full moon. This will provide researchers an unprecedented chance to study what happens in stellar death in real time. Betelgeuse is full of surprises and mysteries. It is helping us understand stellar evolution and cosmic dynamics. Its dimming, mass ejections, and unpredictable behavior highlights how much we still gotta learn. Studying it can help us learn about the universe and our place in it. Telescopes such as the Very Large Telescope to cutting-edge instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope help us peek into the cosmos. According to scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson, discoveries like these spark excitement and urgency. The next time you glance at Orion, see that story of a star that's about to go out with a bang. What do you think will happen to Betelgeuse? Feel free to discuss. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more cosmic stories. As we watch Betelgeuse, its unusual moves show how it gives us rare opportunities to examine how massive stars grow. Each brightness change, mass ejection, and pulsation gives us a better understanding of stars. Betelgeuse is in a rare place of the life cycle and because it seems pretty straightforward and not as easy to be observed. While the cause of mass ejection is one of the most dramatic events observed so far. What is equally intriguing is that Betelgeuse's supernova could provide answers to some questions of astrophysics. It could give clues about aspects of dark matter, the expansion of the universe and processes for how stars and planets form. The research being conducted is part of an effort by the global community to understand the cycles of massive stars. This can help scientists get a grasp on stellar evolution by studying Betelgeuse. You'll find that most stars are too hard to observe. When a star like this happens to give a sign of its final explosion, then we get to observe it. One of the unresolved is how long Betelgeuse is before it reaches the supernova stages. There is constantly adjustments and predictions of the new data provided. Either way, excitement is there. For now, researchers continue to view and monitor by gathering a lot of tools and data. Whether it be from the ground-based like the VT or space telescopes such as JWST, they are using the latest tech to peer inside. These can refine evolution, give insight on force of the universe. Just know it's amazing to be reminded of such complexity of the cosmos as the story unfolds with Betelgeuse. When you see the star, only a few are as viewed to the end like Betelgeuse. The supernova will be a big event. Despite not knowing the explosions, the demise will be momentous as it will give opportunity advancement on our information. Lastly, for all of us, what is happening is that it's a reminder of the mystery and beauty of our universe and what we live on. This made scientists scratch their heads. Was it a warning sign that it's about to explode, or just a temporary thing? If Betelgeuse goes supernova, it could light up the night sky so much it would be like daytime, which would be awesome for science. A star's brightness depends on how big it is, how hot it is, and how close it is to us. Betelgeuse is huge, over 700 times bigger than the Sun, but it's not that hot, only about 3,000 Kelvin. That's what makes it look red. Being big and not too hot makes it a good candidate for a supernova, so its recent weirdness is pretty interesting. Then, in 2019, it got dim, down to only 40% of its usual brightness, which was a shock. People could see it without even using telescopes. So, everyone started watching it and arguing about what was going on. Some people thought dust was blocking the light, while others figured something was happening inside the star. The idea that it might go supernova soon became a big topic. Using the Very Large Telescope in Chile, astronomers took some close-up pictures while it was dimming. The pictures showed the star looked kind of lopsided. They figured out the dimming was probably from a huge blast of stuff from the star's surface. It threw a crazy amount of material into space. This changed how the star looked and messed up its regular pattern of getting bigger and smaller. It was like a giant volcano, but on a star. Betelgeuse shot out over 400 billion tons of stuff. This not only changed how it looked, but also made its breathing pattern shorter, from 400 days to just 200. These big changes suggest Betelgeuse is getting unstable, which raises more questions. How much longer can it keep going like this? Astronomers are now watching it super closely, waiting for signs that it's about to collapse. When a big star like Betelgeuse runs out of fuel, its core falls in on itself because of gravity. That's what causes a supernova. The explosion releases a ton of energy, blowing the star's outer layers into space and creating a really bright light show, so bright that you could see it during the day. If Betelgeuse explodes, the first thing we'll see is a burst of neutrinos, tiny particles that travel faster than light. They would reach us hours before the light from the explosion. When the light does arrive, Betelgeuse could be brighter than the full moon, making weird shadows and lighting up the night for weeks. A supernova like this would be a great chance for scientists to study how stars die. By looking at the light, heat, and energy it gives off, they could learn a lot about how stars change, nuclear physics, and how the stuff that makes up life is created. To figure out what's up with Betelgeuse, scientists are using computer models to simulate the stars inside. These models use data from telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, and the Very Large Telescope, so researchers can peek into what's making Betelgeuse unstable. These simulations show that a huge bubble of gas probably formed deep inside the star, which caused it to pulse differently. The JWST has also given us a better look at the stuff Betelgeuse threw out, showing complicated structures of gas and dust around the star. This suggests Betelgeuse might be near the end of its life, giving us an amazing view of how big stars end. While scientists think Betelgeuse could go supernova in the next 10,000 to 100,000 years, its crazy behavior makes them think it could be sooner. The astronomy world is rushing to record everything about this event before it happens. In 2023, the JWST took another look at Betelgeuse and found some new stuff. Scientists saw that the star, which was already acting up because of the surface mass ejection, had a quick internal collapse. This collapse changed how the core was working and messed with the nuclear reactions. Before the collapse, astronomers saw Betelgeuse's expansion patterns were changing. The star's surface was getting bigger and smaller over 400 days. After that, it suddenly went to 200 days, showing something big had changed inside the star. These changes are like a signal that Betelgeuse might be getting close to the end of its life. Simulations showed that the core of the star is becoming less stable as it's fusing heavier stuff. When stars get to this point, they start making iron, which is the last step before they collapse. Unlike other elements, iron doesn't release energy when it's fused, so it builds up mass and makes the core collapse. Betelgeuse's recent behavior has started arguments about when it will go supernova. Some say it could be in the next few centuries, while others think it could be thousands of years away. But one thing's clear, Betelgeuse's time as a red supergiant is ending. One of the biggest signs that a supernova is coming is a jump in neutrino activity. Scientists are watching Betelgeuse closely for any sudden increases in neutrinos, and instruments around the world are ready to pick up on this signal, which could be our first warning of an upcoming supernova. Even though Betelgeuse's supernova will be an amazing sight, scientists say it's not dangerous to Earth. However, it could be as bright as the full moon, creating weird shadows and lighting up the night sky for weeks. This event will be exciting for people who like to look at the stars, and it will be an amazing chance for scientists to study how stars die. The story of Betelgeuse reminds us that the universe is still full of mysteries. This huge star has caught our imagination for centuries, and it continues to challenge what we know about stars. As Betelgeuse surprises us with its dimming, mass ejections, and other craziness, it shows us that we still have a lot to learn. Its potential supernova gives scientists a great chance to study the life cycle of big stars up close. Learning about these things isn't just about one star. It's about understanding how galaxies are formed, how the universe gets the stuff it needs, and even how life is possible. The tools we use to study Betelgeuse, from telescopes on the ground to the James Webb Space Telescope, have given us new ways to see the universe. Now we can run simulations, study how stars work, and look back billions of years to better understand the universe around us. For scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson, discoveries like these are exciting and important. They push our knowledge and challenge us to keep exploring. So, the next time you look at Orion, remember that one of those stars is telling the story of a star that's about to change big time. What do you think will happen to Betelgeuse? Are we seeing the last moments of a star that's about to explode, or is it just another step in its mysterious life? Share your ideas. Keep watching the skies. As we keep an eye on Betelgeuse, it's clear that this star is giving astronomers rare chances to study how stars evolve. Every change in brightness and every surface mass ejection brings us closer to understanding stellar life cycles. One of the most interesting things about Betelgeuse is that it's in a rare stage of life. It's almost at the end of its life as a red supergiant, but its path to supernova isn't simple. Scientists are still arguing about what's causing its weird behavior. While the surface mass ejection was a big event, it could be just the start of changes that will lead to the star's collapse.